Good, Scotty. What's up, wish list?
Back, baby.
Yeah.
Back on the show. It's about time, man. Wrecking Ball himself.
Hey, tell us what's on your shirt.
Thank God it's Tuesday.
Thank
and what's
God
that mean?
it's Tuesday.
Boom.
All right, guys, on Instagram, thanks for joining us as well.
I love that shirt. I love your name on screen. The only unfortunate part about that shirt is that we're switching to Mondays at some point before the season starts.
I got a red Sharpie. You don't worry about that.
No, I mean, but there'll still be a show on Tuesday. You can wear it, I'm sure. So either way, thank God it's Tuesday.
His shows will be on Tuesdays.
Right. So that works out perfect.
Still works out. Just won't be this one on Tuesdays anymore.
Exactly. So IG, thanks for joining in. We're streaming you over here. We will be answering questions live over on YouTube. So find us over on YouTube. We'll be over there, but we'll also answer your questions here if you just want to hang out. But it's way better. You can see everyone on stream over on YouTube. So anywho, yeah, so welcome into the show. We got Wishlist in here with us, or FFN is awesome, I guess is his little alias there, which I like.
Yeah, of course.
We got AJ already up in the chat. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
AJ, you'll be happy to know I did, like, in our Dynasty draft for Fix and Recap, I did not draft AJ Brown. However, I traded for him right after.
Yep.
I can't believe we got AJ Brown to comment on this show already. This is
I know. Yeah, he loves us.
I know.
He felt the trade happen, and he had to jump in and come in. See, so look at that, my man.
I did draft Hurts, so I had to have the stack after the draft, and that's.
Don't blame you.
I've got Eagles on my team, bro.
Yep.
I hate the Eagles.
In both of my dynasty leagues,
I
have Hurts, AJ Brown stack.
Scotty, if I'm being honest, I think Eagles fans hate the Eagles. I mean, how could you not? They are just the worst. So
if they don't, everybody hates Eagle fans. So that works. I mean, they're horrible people.
Vicious cycle.
But please follow.
like this video, follow the channel, all that good stuff.
I hate your guts. Eagles. Hit the subscribe.
I hate the Eagles, but I want to win some damn Dynasty championships.
From Philly.
I draft a couple of Philly guys.
The white AJ Brown, I'll take it.
Nah.
So, anyways, we just finished up a Dynasty draft in your league there, Scotty. This is the league that you just started up this year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got a Dynasty league. I've been doing fantasy for over 20 years. So I have the same guys, my hometown buddies, same 12 teams, basically. Growing up with my family and friends, best friends. Half of them wanted to do Dynasty. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't want to run any more leagues, but I guess I will. I've been with Fantasy Football Network for 2 years now. Got close with Corey and Kyle. I said, yo, guys, would you be interested in Dynasty? And we got half Fantasy Football Network, half hometown buddies. And we rumbled the draft this past week, and it was pretty awesome.
Dude, that draft, okay, just so everyone's aware, we had 24 hours per pick, which is ridiculous. It's 12 teams and 25 rounds. Guys, we're talking 300 total picks at 24 hours apiece in a slow draft. This could have lasted 300 days if everyone took all their time. Yes. 150 days if they took half their time.
Yes, and it helped also. It was 24 hours per pick, and after 10 minutes, you're like, come on, man. Come on.
What's taking so long?
There was a handful of picks that took like 2 or 3 hours.
My friend John, it was horrible.
And those were the only ones that took outside of people just being in bed already.
Did you go to sleep, you bitch? It's only midnight.
But they went to sleep when their kids went to bed. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like,
for real though.
It's like 8 o'clock. They're like, well, that's it for me. I'm like, dude, I got 4 or 5 more hours. I'll be awake, ready to draft. What are y'all doing?
Hey, Scotty, how long did it end up taking? AJ said this took 4 weeks. How long did it take?
I thought it was going to take 3 weeks. AJ, 1 week.
1 week.
Took 1 week, which was crazy.
With so much trading.
8 days. It was 8 days. It was a little over a week. But
and I got to be honest, Corey, Kyle, it was 8 days with 476 trades.
At least.
at least that many trades.
Albert, what's up? Welcome in, my man. Yeah, dude, it was at least that many trades. It was the most active Dynasty, like the most active draft I've ever been a part of, and it was insanity. So, AJ had his second kid, so he's 5 months. Know that feeling? Yep.
You didn't learn the first time, did you, AJ? I have 3.
Oh, you guys are idiots. I'm one and done.
Cut the ties. Yeah. Punch
I got a
yourself in the
dog that
sack.
sleeps. I got a dog that sleeps perfectly whenever I sleep, and sometimes when I don't.
Stay on porn, Kyle. Stay on porn.
So much cheaper.
This is way cheaper. I'll give you that. Woo. Anywho, yeah. So this was a crazy draft. Lots of pre-draft moves going in, and then during there were a lot of moves as well. What kind of strange scoring did you have set up for it, if any, there, Scotty?
Honestly, it's more of a traditional league. It was the one PPR. It is a traditional league. It's not super flex because I hate super flex personally.
Yep. Super flex is stupid.
I believe it just forces you to pick quarterbacks. The draft is telling you how to draft. You're not drafting yourself.
Super flex is for children, and you can tell Stevie over at Dynasty Life I said so.
So you got the 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and then you got 2 flexes, which could be a running back, wide receiver, tight end, and your bench spots, which I'm not doing the math real quick in my head. You have 25 roster spots. So
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a big bench. It's a big bench, and you're still wanting people off waivers for some reason.
I was just about to say that. I was looking at that going 25 rounds, 12 teams. We're going to be drafting high school players by the end of this. And there are players out there right now that I wish I had roster spots.
I want.
For.
Yes,
yep.
I want. And there's guys I've never even heard of that I drafted that all of a sudden I fell in love with because I drafted them that I don't want to drop for those guys.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, Thornton, the guy on the Patriots, never heard of him. But I read like his biography. He ran a 4.2. He's 6'2". He's 22 years old. I'm like, I can't drop this guy.
You're like, I can't even keep it in my pants.
Yeah. I have a boner right now talking about this guy. I'm probably not even pronouncing his name right.
Maybe not, but who cares? He's giving you a Thornton right now, and that's all that matters. All right. So Albert says, is that NBA Jam behind you, Scotty? I would believe so.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a Scottie Pippen fan. So I roll
cool.
with the Bulls on that one.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a delightful game.
That's
NBA
the team
Jam.
I always picked when I was a kid playing that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
NBA Jam.
Oh, loved it.
Always the Bulls. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of the Bulls, man. I was all about Michael Jordan. You're a kid. You're going to love like the best team.
Yeah.
We didn't have the Thunder back then, so it was the Bulls.
Yep.
Then Jordan retired, and I didn't watch NBA until we got the Thunder.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't
all right.
watch it.
So you have the 2 flexes, PPR, deep bench, and then it's 4-point passing touchdowns for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into that.
That part was a little bit different for us because all the leagues that I'm in are 6-point passing TDs.
Got you.
Yep.
That's from what I'm used to. So I'm sorry I threw you into my.
No, 4 points traditional. The leagues I run, I choose to do 6.
So I have
set up that way years ago by somebody else, and that's where I adopted it from.
And explaining too with Corey and Kyle, and they'll back me up on this. I made it more traditional. I didn't want to do any crazy bonuses because half the league is brand new to Dynasty. I wanted them to be comfortable. Corey and Kyle didn't make it comfortable because they shoved trades down all their throats, and they did accept them, which was crazy. So
we literally assaulted their inboxes with trades.
Yeah.
My jaw is so tired after. I'll
take your daughter to a date, to a strip club. That's where they took my daughter.
You guys just sent offers? That's it? That's how you got them accepted?
Holy shit. It was crazy. Broken jaws. But no. There's a lot of new people. I kept it traditional and simple.
Yep. Yeah, that's a smart idea. So all right. Let's pull up the draft board. Kyle, you wanna pull up that draft board if you have it up. Or I can do it really quick.
I have it up. I just need to share it.
Okay. Because the first thing you're going to notice when you pull up this draft board, first thing people should notice when they see it is all of the little gray names down in the corners of the draft picks. What that means is the pick was traded. Okay, that means that's not the original person who owned that. So behold,
dude, look at it. Nobody had their pick.
No one.
I think if you put us all on the top, it might make that easier to read.
I think you're right. A little bit.
It widens it out a little bit more.
Giggity. Okay, so I'm just going to test. Oh, that does exactly what I thought.
It does.
Okay.
It's better up top. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so those little gray names down in the lower right-hand corner of those picks means that pick was traded. So, wild. Or like Kyle has his pulled up, so the Kyle FFN is actually in blacks. So the gray and the black.
It's like 95% of the picks was traded at some point.
Like entire third round.
Until you get down to like round 22 through 24, there's not that many. But
Kyle,
up until the majority.
Kyle, click on your icon up top. Okay.
Yeah. 3 first rounders. I don't know how he pulled that off.
So that should have been on Kyle's column. That should have been just straight down, is what that should have been.
Yeah.
But instead, he's got Wilson and Hurts there, and then Kyle, scroll down and let's see when the next time you picked down there. What round is that?
18.
Okay, so that's where you started on yours. Click on mine real quick.
Oh, Corey was missing the whole middle.
Okay, let's see.
He was originally he had half of this third round, and he traded all of those for these 2 seconds and another 4th, I believe, or another 5th. I can't remember now.
Oh, and you're seeing that right. Jonathan Taylor made it to the 2nd round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
I can't believe.
Yeah. So I didn't pick my first pick that I owned until round 10. So my first 9 picks were somebody else's picks, and then scroll down how much. And then I want to go to Scottie's real quick, see how much movement he had as well. Okay, so round 10, and then another jump.
20.
So okay, now click on Scottie's real quick, just out of curiosity. There.
Stop the middle. I'm.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's a lot of movement, guys. That's the point there. That is a ton of movement.
We should just do it with everybody's team here. Let's see. There's Amber.
Okay.
There's Rory.
I mean, really, everyone's just.
Steve didn't.
Right.
He stayed mostly true.
And
he only had, I think, 2 trades the whole time.
And I think Chef Dunna here, shot callers, I think he did 1.
And then Ben had, I think, a pair of trades.
Yeah.
Unless that was all from the trade with Scottie. That might have only been 1 trade.
It was 1 trade with me.
Yep.
Steve did quite a bit.
Dang.
I got a lot of trades in with him.
Steve picked a lot of picks late.
Yeah, he did.
Brian didn't.
Brian, he had a handful of trades. He had like 4 or 5, but nothing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nothing crazy.
Now, I feel like Johnny's going to be everywhere. Johnny was pretty active.
Johnny was pretty active. He was with me and Corey on a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
It's funny.
And these ones, he was trying to trade some of those that he had.
Funny is he's right here, but you go 1 spot back. He's got 1, 2, 3 here.
Yeah.
And Darren at the end started making trades like halfway through. It's like he woke up in the middle of the class. So he was like, "Oh, there's a draft going on," and then he started making trades.
I want to trade too, you guys.
Yeah, like where were we the whole time?
This is Larry. He was all over the place.
Yep. This is wild, man.
And then Darren he took his first 2 picks and went, fuck it.
I might.
Just started.
Yeah.
He went, "Oh, you guys were supposed to trade? Dush. You're like, oh yeah, there you go, bro."
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, these guys are mostly new to Dynasty, and they weren't afraid to make moves. And honestly, the teams all turned out really good. It's going to be a super competitive league, I feel like.
It really is. And when Darren picked Eckler, Tyreek Hill, and Chubb, his first 3 picks. And right away, I'm like, oh, he's screwed. I said, he goes, dude, why is everybody going young, like too young? I know it's Dynasty, but he's like, people aren't going to try to win now. I'm like, no, it's your preference. But I said, you might want to go younger soon, dude. I said, you got your top 3 picks are old. He goes, all right, no problem. And that's when his trade started happening.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Around. You got McLaurin, Quentin Johnson, Pittman. Jones was older, Waller older.
he didn't listen to me, though.
Well, I feel like after the first few rounds, he was already in it. So he's like, screw it. I'm going to win now and rebuild later.
Yeah.
And so that was his strategy. He took all the old guys off the board, so the rest of us didn't have to worry about it.
Aaron, go younger. All right, I'll go Aaron Jones. Like,
exactly.
No, dude, it's not 1996.
No. We said younger. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
He has him too. He has him too, dude.
It's like, no, I don't think the other younger. The other.
You're dyslexic. That's all.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Dynasty. Somebody has to take the older players. So somebody has to decide, okay, I'm just going to try to win now, and then I can rebuild later. And that's what he did, and because there's other guys that he didn't even take. Like, I don't remember who took, like, Derrick Henry.
Rory.
Rory did.
He went with Ken right after Ken Walker or something.
So he's got Henry. But other than that, he's mostly young. Well, Ridley's up there.
He is.
And then he's got Goddard, but he has Laporta to back that up. So that's a smart backup plan there. Yeah, he's got a pretty good mix of both. So he did a pretty good job mixing up old and young, I feel like. So, all right. So let's kind of go through this just to kind of break down how the picks went. I was surprised on this first round on how many wide receivers went.
I was too, man.
Because I expected, I know I'm pretty traditional and I like running backs, and I figured, I think, Scottie, you're the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so running backs.
I'd pick 18 running backs in the first 10 picks.
But this right here shows you. This right here shows you.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, I was trying to math it.
Carried a 6.
Yeah, I was trying to math it. I carried the B.
Yeah.
And then
MC squared.
Yeah. So, but this is how Jonathan Taylor dropped to me in the second round. And
everyone, first of all, I don't know how he dropped to the second round. He got past Eckler. He got past Barkley.
He got to the second round because I had 3 first-round picks and I wanted receivers.
Which is, they're badass receivers.
And that pushed Taylor and Barkley. I think Taylor and Barkley would have been first-rounders if I only had 1 first-round pick.
Possible.
Yeah.
But me taking 3 receivers there basically in a row was what pushed them down.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, getting 3 first-round picks, I must say. And I think those trades were literally on draft day, I think.
No, I think only 1 was for that.
Just the middle one.
Gotcha.
I got during the draft. The other one I had before.
Yep.
But then
okay, so
a
lot of wide receivers. So just to talk on that, Scottie, you and I are big on running backs. Kyle, you're big on wide receivers. You used to be big on running back. What changed in there for you?
Well, the fact that every team has 2 or 3 running backs sharing a backfield now, except for like a couple, but also just in my dynasty teams, I'm very anti-injury risk. Like, I really don't like to put that much dynasty stock in such a fragile position, because not only are they fragile physically, but, as we found out this year with Ken Walker is a great example. No running back is safe from their team drafting another guy every year and sharing a backfield. And that, to me, like, that's just, you're not going to see that with receivers. Nobody's going to come in and take touches away from Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase like they are. Charbonnet's going to take carries away from Kenneth Walker this year.
But I got to ask you, Kyle, because I'm going to talk from the other side of it as a guy who, if I don't have enough running backs, I'm a nervous wreck. Yep. I do have to ask your opinion. I want to know what's going through your mind. If we click on your team real quick, can you click on your team? Like, I'd be nervous with your run. Like, what's your logic now with your running backs? Because I would be like, dude, if one of them gets hurt, I'm fucked. Like Javonte Williams and White, you're putting full blown.
Yeah, and like I don't even have Spears anymore. I've got Roschon now instead, and then I've got Pierce Strong. Like that's my running backs. But I'm not so dependent on running backs because my receiver core is so strong. I can still play both receivers and both flexes with receivers. I'm also very deep at tight end. I can do the same there. I just, if it comes to it, you can almost always find a waiver darling during the season at running back because of injuries or because someone just looks better than anybody expected. You know, and there's a couple out there on waivers now. I'm like, I'll be keeping my eye on, you know, during the season, during camp and stuff. And
well, like,
just as
like you said, their spots are fragile. Someone could take over at any given time for one of these teams.
I'm talking though. The point differential though is I mean, I guess you're right with your wide receivers could play the flex, and me and Corey are the opposite. Like our running backs are going to be our flex. But Corey's running back.
The point differential for like maybe 4 or 5 running backs, sure. But to me, if I can get like I got Garrett Wilson, Waddle, and Olave. The only guys I think might outscore them consistently, McCaffrey, Hall, Robinson. And we already know McCaffrey's injury history. Breece Hall's already had a torn ACL. Like I go more risk adverse.
I think it makes sense, and their careers last longer. In a dynasty, you know, a wide receiver lasts later in life, whereas a running back has, you know, they're lucky to get re-signed now off their rookie contract.
Plus my QB has running back numbers built in too.
Correct.
That's true.
I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here to the chat real quick. Sorry. So AJ says this is a new league dynasty draft. That's correct. We're just started up. Why draft?
And we weren't able to trade our future rookie picks yet either. These trades were all simply with this year's picks,
which is very smart because you want to talk about getting crazy. That would have been fun too. Anyways, why draft running back that is older? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's purely a win now move.
Yeah, like I would not have drafted McCaffrey or Eckler there. I just wouldn't. I mean, in Dynasty, I don't value them the same.
So let's take a look at like Rory. Okay, most of his team is pretty young. He's going to be competitive for a while. To me, the Derrick Henry pick didn't make sense for him.
Well, he probably had in mind too. He does have Najee Harris, who's younger, and he does have.
But he took after.
Ken Walker was later, but running back in that round, he knew he had a backup plan.
He took Henry right before Stevenson. I wouldn't have done that.
Yes, right. I agree with that.
Stevenson made much more sense for him there than Henry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the Stevenson, Walker, Madison, Pierce, Dobbins, Javonte Williams, Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, man. I would have taken any of those that you just named over Henry where he took him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He took Henry early. So why draft an older running back right there? I mean, I wouldn't have.
It's 1 year left. You're right. You guys are right. He has Henry for this year.
Yeah. And I think he's going to see less volume this year. I mean, I think they're starting to be done with him. So
the only way Henry makes sense is if he was able to draft Tyjae Spears later on.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
Like if you draft an old running back like that, then you're either trying to win now or you're just going to do as much as you can and you have their succession plan on your roster also.
And fellas, do you think Spears is a running back in the NFL, or is he going to be a split guy?
No, I know he'll be a split guy this year, but like I think he takes over next year. The problem is what I'm asking. The problem is his medicals. I don't think he'll last more than 2 or 3 years as a starter before they have to replace him with his knee. Like I don't know. He's going to be exciting for a couple of years. but then I think he'll have that Gurley breakdown.
That was quick.
Where
Quick
just
breakdown.
all of a sudden his knee will hit a wall and he'll be done overnight. So
I can see it.
It's a risky proposition there, man.
AJ wants to know, or he said, I don't like Swift much in Philly. What are your thoughts there, Wishlist, on Swift in Philly?
It's tight because if you look on the left side of the draft in the 4th round, I picked Cam Akers. I was between Akers, Swift, and Mixon. Who you got, Corey?
Yep.
I chose Akers mainly because Mixon was getting older, and that forced me to have to go after Chase Brown later on, and I didn't want to be forced to pick somebody later on.
Yep.
Swift, it was between Akers and Swift, and I'm like, you know what? I'm rolling with the last 5 games Akers had with the Rams. I like his competition better than Swift's. Like, I believe Akers doesn't have anyone to compete with. I understand. I understand they drafted Evans. I know they just picked up Sonny Michel. They don't scare me. So it's going to take another injury of Swift to be non-relevant. Whereas, I mean, did I just say Swift? I'm sorry. Akers. So I like both, but I went with Akers for that reason, for competition purposes.
So as that pick was approaching, I had 4 picks in a row coming up there, and I ended up taking Jackson, Mixon, Swift, and Judy. My plan was to get Jackson still. My plan was to get Javonte Williams, Cam Akers, Lamar Jackson, and then a wide receiver. I hadn't decided on the wide receiver there. And then right before my turn came up, went Williams and Akers. And so I had to pivot to Mixon and Swift. Swift, well, you mentioned it. Mixon's getting a little bit older. I know he can't seem to get out of trouble for some reason right now, too. It makes me really nervous. Swift, for me, is an unknown, right? Everything is a hypothetical. We're still guessing what's his role going to be. Can he stay healthy? What does that all look like? He has much more competition in that backfield. Not only Rashad Penny, but Gainwell could creep in there for a little bit too. Makes me nervous. I mean, even last year with Miles Sanders, I mean, they still rotated 3 running backs in there. They had a game in there where 3 running backs and Hurts all had a rushing touchdown. Like, there were 4 different rushing touchdowns scored by different people. And I feel like Swift could fall into that sort of situation as well, where they're just rotating backs. Now, to me, that probably bodes well for his health. I think Swift has a better chance of staying healthy in this offense because he's not going to be used as much. So the demand on his body isn't going to be near as high. So he'll probably have a better chance of staying healthy, but his quantity will not be there. He won't have that high volume. And in fantasy football, volume is what you're after at that running back. That's why those workhorses, opportunity. That's why you want wide receivers that have the most targets and stuff. So that opportunity is big. What Swift's opportunity is going to be, not really sure. He's already going to be, even if he's the lead running back, he's the second running back in that offense behind Jalen Hurts. So he's already set up to fail there. I don't know. It makes me nervous, but at the value right there, I wanted to put other people in a bad spot at running back. So I went ahead and took him anyways, just to make people sweat it out a little bit at running back because it was already getting thin.
100%. And I want to add something, and this could be unpopular, but I think Swift is better than Miles Sanders. So I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't know how many attempts Miles Sanders had, but I believe Swift's a better running back. Health is everything with Swift. So if, like you said, if Swift gets a little less touches, but he gets to stay healthy, in the long run, he will have the touches that Miles Sanders has. And I think he puts up better numbers than Sanders. And Sanders had an incredible year last year with the Eagles.
Well, yeah, and I think if they can both stay healthy, Penny and Swift, they have a potent 1-2 punch there if they use them that way.
Yep.
And that could be dangerous. The thing that would make me nervous is that neither of them have stayed healthy in their careers yet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking up Miles Sanders right now. I want to see
well, I can see Mr. Gainwell having at least a couple of games this year where he's the starter between those two guys and their injuries.
What are you trying to look up exactly? Steve.
How many attempts he had, like Miles Sanders?
So rushing attempts, I'll go through his games really quick. He missed a lot of games last year. Holy cow. So started off with 15, then 13, then 2, 7, 11, 9, 6, missed 3 games, came back to 16, 9, 24, skipped a game, 18, 7, missed 2 games.
All right, hold on 1 second. This is Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
So this is good news for you, actually, to be honest with you, because that sounds like a Swift season, and I think Miles Sanders rushed for over 1,000 yards.
He was the number 15 running back in PPR, number 10 in standard. Well, here's his targets, too. His targets go 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 1, gap, 1, 1, 3, gap, 2, 3, gap. So, so in some of those, I mean, he was getting 5, 4 targets a game. He probably averaged about 3 targets a game, which not great, but I mean, when you look at the yardage he got off of him, it was actually pretty good.
Absolutely.
And I haven't looked at the stats on how often Jalen Hurts dumps the ball off either, because like Lamar Jackson never dumps the ball off. That's why like running back receiving stats for like J.K. Dobbins doesn't really matter because he doesn't dump the ball off. I don't think Hurts does that much either. So
running quarterbacks rarely do.
They're gonna have to figure out a way to get Swift the ball, whether that's in the slot, moving him around or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, but you know, they got to figure out a way to get him in space. That's where he's dangerous.
So that's a good point.
So let's all say a prayer for AJ. He watched all the Eagles games. So sorry you had to do that. He said, "Don't take an Eagles running back." Yeah, I mean, I actually would kind of agree with that. This is turning into one of those backfields to avoid. And unfortunately, my hand was kind of forced there with Scottie, you and Kyle both sniping me in back-to-back picks there. So I was kind of forced while at the zoo with my family, trying to see my phone in the sun, playing in a splash pad, whatever. So,
Corey, I'm going to cut you off. Corey, what's your take now? Because I said why I would pick Akers over Swift. Why did you want Akers over Swift?
Youth, that stretch of games, like you said, kind of proved why he was back. Lack of competition. The competition there for touches is slim, very slim. So that's why I would have taken him. Kind of all the same things you were talking about. I mean, the upside there, but youth. I mean, I don't know. I like the offense for him better there. Yeah, I would have rathered Akers, and Javonte Williams for sure. But I mean,
but with Swift, you'll be able to get a good wide receiver eventually. You're going to be able to. They're good enough where people are going to want them, and you could trade them, or you could.
Swift is exactly where he's going to be playing for me. Swift is a good flex player.
Yes,
and that's where he's going to be at, is in my flex, and that's all I need from him. I think he's a solid flex player.
A very good flex player.
Yeah,
he's a good RB too.
And when I have buys or injuries, like to be able to plug him in, cool. That he's not my top running back, fantastic. I will take that. Right. So that's a pretty good spot to be sitting in, honestly.
It's funny, like I was thinking about this. I was talking to Corey about it not long ago, but has there been a player that has been on more of a roller coaster rankings-wise over the last few years than Cam Akers? He was like top 10 Dynasty running back, got hurt, nobody would touch him with a 10-foot pole. Last year comes back, moves back up the rankings. Oh, he's not looking good, moves back down, has a good stretch at the end of the season, now he's back up. It's like
look at him with his real team. His real team was going to cut him last year. It's nuts.
Like that dude's been through it.
Adversity on this guy. Resilience.
Hey,
For
AJ,
real.
I'm going to have my parenting moment. My kid is screaming for me downstairs. So, guys, y'all take over for a minute. I will be right back.
You got it.
Stare at my amazing CD Lamb jersey while I'm gone, AJ.
But no, like it's funny with Akers because last year I was off of him because coming back from the injury and stuff, I knew he'd be a hard sell. But now that I've seen him put it back together, I'm back in on him. Like, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be in charge of that running game there. And like you say, I mean, I thought like last year, I thought Kyron Williams was going to be good, and he wasn't. And then they drafted Zach Evans. I wasn't really sure how to feel about that. I wasn't super excited. And apparently neither were the Rams because they went and signed Sony Michel back on. So, yeah, like he's the man there.
Now, you're talking about injuries. I got to go after your boy here, Javonte Williams. What's your take? What are you expecting from Javonte?
This year or forever?
So you have him for Dynasty. So you picked him basically because he's 23 years old and you have him for next year. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm expecting a full rebound in 2024. I expect I'll get, probably a handful of decent games out of him the second half of this year. But coming back from those kind of injuries, the first year back's never that great. Look at Barkley, look at Dobbins, look at Akers.
Right. Akers.
Any of these injuries coming back like that, it's always rough the first year back. So I didn't draft him for this year. I was really hoping to snag P. Ryan late, and then you reached and took him early, and I hate you for it. But, in Dynasty, I love him, especially paired up with Sean Payton. We saw what Payton did with Kamara, and that excites me a lot. But I'm not expecting that this year.
I got P. Ryan in the 10th.
Do what?
I got P. Ryan in the 10th.
Yeah, that's too early for me.
Yeah.
For him.
Well, I want to win this year.
I'm trying to see, like, who...
Well, you'll win the first 4 games. That's fine.
Let's see, who got...
On my bench. I want Javonte.
Yeah, see, you took P. Ryan, who is a temporary... Like, yeah, he'll get some carries there.
Yeah, but
Javonte, even when Javonte's healthy.
Time out. You're going to point to Elijah. I could have won.
He'll get some carries even when Javonte's healthy, but I wouldn't have taken him over Tank Bigsby, Tyjae Spears, Rashad Penny.
No, here.
Damian Harris. Those are all guys I would have taken before P. Ryan.
So the reason I took P. Ryan is because...
It's to fuck me over. I know why you took P. Ryan.
Well, no. That is 100%.
You're like, Kyle's got some shit I want, so I'm going to take his handcuff.
That's 100%.
And then I'm going to extort him for a first-round receiver.
No, P. Ryan is my number 5 running back. I have P. Ryan because I have Jamison Williams, who's suspended for 6 games. P. Ryan, I'm expecting Javonte to have a slow start of the season, so I'm hoping at least P. Ryan could give me 4 games, the first 4 games of the season, until, Jamison Williams almost comes back in my flex position. Because I have Breece Hall, Madison, Akers, and I don't really like Antonio Gibson that much.
You're going to start P. Ryan over Gibson?
Possible. Yeah, because he's going to be I think he's going to be the running back.
Well, shit. Don't worry about trading me P. Ryan. Trade me Gibson then. No,
all right. We might have a trade on this show. Absolutely. I'm open to trade.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
We're going live.
Oh, man. Uh-oh.
We tried yesterday already.
Guys, we got
AJ's
one for you, Scotty.
AJ's got fighting words.
Breece is going to be trash. Probably the beginning of the year. Yeah, I'm expecting the first half he's shaky, especially week 1. He's going to suck versus the Bills. So
Breece and Javonte are both going to start very slow this year.
Yeah, AJ, I'm a Breece Hall owner in every league I'm in, and I'm expecting him to start slow for sure.
Oh man, I thought that was going to be more fighting than that.
No, I wish. Dude, he's going to start slow. It's just by history.
But again, like with Javonte, it's Dynasty. You got to think beyond just the first half of this year.
Yeah. I wanted a workhorse. I want a guy who, Ken Walker is a shocker that they drafted Zach, but Breece Hall, I don't see anybody that could beat him for touches.
No. They're saying, Bonaconda could end up, sharing a few, but like Breece Hall's the man.
Listen, if Dalvin Cook goes to the Jets, I'll be absolutely
That would be a different story. Yeah.
I swear to God, I'll burn him.
That's a good point. Let's talk about Dalvin Cook and some of these other veteran running backs that are just sitting out there on the market, right? Dalvin Cook, they're talking Jets, Dolphins. What the hell? These teams don't need more running backs.
And Patriots.
And Patriots.
And the Bills. Like, every team that doesn't need a running back is looking at Dalvin Cook. And I'm like, that's why I don't like running backs.
Like, what
Nobody's
the heck?
Safe.
Shut up, Kyle.
Nobody's safe.
I mean, it's a good point.
Because even if they're better, they can always go sign somebody else cheaper because it's running back and people are tired of paying them.
Yeah, I think it's man, I'm talking about a fragile position now. Because like you said, you've got the Dolphins who already have 4 running backs, and it's annoying to own any of them. And then they're going to go sign Dalvin Cook? Why?
Because they can.
What are you doing?
He's not a bruiser, and they're sick of Jeff Wilson, I'm guessing. But
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
the Jets have running backs, even if Breece Hall can't do it.
The Jets have a ton between Carter, Bam Knight, and now Abanikanda. Like, they're stacked at running back, honestly.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook just throws a whole wrench and everything.
It doesn't make any sense.
And I wouldn't even put stock in Cook in fantasy purposes because he's washed.
I think he's a little washed, and I mean, he's going to end up in just a timeshare somewhere. Same thing goes with Zeke. I feel like Zeke's washed and going to end up in a timeshare to maybe just be a relief or a goal line kind of guy.
As Cowboy fans, do you think he ends up back with the Cowboys, knowing his role?
Zeke, maybe. It's possible. I wouldn't mind having a Dalvin Cook in Dallas either.
Yeah, I was thinking Dalvin Cook would probably be a step up from Zeke.
But I think he wants more money than we'll be willing to pay. I think Zeke would give us that home team discount just to come back and be with a familiar team again.
Really, the Eagles should take Cook and Zeke.
Yeah,
they just might as well have more, just to rotate them all. They might as well.
Listen, the Eagles built their real team the way I build my dynasty team.
Yes,
quarterback, receiving core, tight end, running backs be damned.
Pretty much. I mean, to a point. I mean, the running backs they have are pretty damn good. They just got multiples of them to rotate them. So, I mean, Kyle, you make a funny point. The Eagles look like a fantasy team. They are kind of constructed that way. It seems. Maybe that's how their GM, maybe he was a big-time fantasy player, and that's just how he's doing. He's like, dude, this shit's easy.
Yeah.
Well, Detroit, too, during their draft, looks like how I do drafts in fantasy. When they make a pick, they jump around like animals and chest bump everybody. So I think I'm the Dan Campbell of fantasy football.
They're jumping up to 8th overall to take a running back. That's like
AJ.
Oh, I love it. Alrighty. We've got a little bit longer here. Is there anything else in particular, Kyle, that you think we should touch on here? Actually, I'm going to touch on something here. I kind of wanted to go through the quarterbacks that were picked, when they were picked, and kind of the order of them and why that is. I'm going to go back to that 4 points for a passing touchdown. And I think that played a big role into what quarterbacks were taken and when. Of course, none of us.
I think there was only a handful of us that really paid attention to that because everybody else is kind of used to playing with that, it sounds like.
Yeah, sounds
at least Scottie and his buddies are.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and you noticed it because we're used to playing with 6. Now, some of these other guys, like the shot callers and Stevie, I'm not sure. I know Stevie's a super flex guy. I'm not sure if he plays a 4 or 6. But I know we noticed it. It jumped out at us. And so, we were all about getting those running quarterbacks.
Yeah, it surprised me. The order of them doesn't surprise me at all, actually. for the
The
first
order
month.
level didn't
Mahomes
really
hurts.
change.
Mahomes hurts. Allen Jackson. Yeah, duh. But
Alan
would
Jackson.
you?
I didn't know he played football. I'm just kidding. I know what you mean.
Would you have taken? Would either of you had taken Fields ahead of Burrow or Herbert?
No.
Herbert, yes. I would have taken Lawrence ahead of Herbert.
Yep.
Herbert fucked me last year, and he's dead to me.
Yeah, no, he played with hurt ribs though, and without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah,
No excuses.
I'm just saying, as a Cowboys fan, excuses.
Now he has Kellen Moore. He has Kellen Moore now. Like I'm not touching Herbert.
Excuses don't work. As Cowboy fans, we can't use an excuse for fucking anything, and so we could be playing without an offensive line, and somehow Dak Prescott just sucks. It's like we didn't even have an offensive line; they just played with all wide receivers. Anyways, I agree. I think
this pisses me off, Corey. You talking about Dak real quick? I have to get this off my chest. Everybody talks about how he threw like the league most interceptions and shit. At least half of them went right off his receivers' hands into defenders.
I actually saw a graph the other day.
So I hate that he gets credit for all of those.
What was that? Oh yeah, Dallas sucks. Yeah, I know. They're talking about them. No, Dallas is horrible.
But still good enough to beat Washington twice a year. So
yes, hold on. They won in the 90s too? Yeah, I know. They don't stop talking. Like they won the Super Bowl last year. Dak Prescott. Yeah, he'll never win.
Hey, we didn't say Dak Prescott. We never said Dak Prescott was good enough to win a Super Bowl. Because I don't think he is either. But it is what it is.
I don't think I think Dak's more capable than Mike McCarthy of winning a Super Bowl. That's my problem. Is
McCarthy's done it before. Just
with Aaron Rodgers.
a prime Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, with Aaron Rodgers.
But anyways, we've won 3 Super Bowls in my lifetime. Most people don't even get to see one in their entire lifetime. So 5 total, but 3 in my lifetime. And I'm pretty young. So that's pretty impressive. Got a lot of time left.
I always think it's funny how all these teams that have no Super Bowls are the ones that want to give us the most shit about living in the past. It's like, all right, well, y'all do something in the past, and then we'll stop too.
Yeah, at least we have a past to talk about. All right. Anyways, Herbert, going back to that, I would have taken Fields and Lawrence ahead of Herbert there. Out on a limb here, would either of you taken Richardson ahead of Herbert?
I'm not a Richardson.
No, I draw the line there.
Okay, because I was curious, or even Deshaun Watson ahead.
I would have taken Watson over Richardson though.
Yes, I like Watson.
Watson went like a whole round after Richardson. I would have rather had Watson.
Well, I spoke to Kyle on the phone. Were we on the phone or texting, whatever? I said, dude, if Watson comes to me, we'll make the trade unless Watson comes to me. And you're like, no, Watson's definitely going to reach you. And then he was the pick before me. I'm like, all right, Kyle, here's your pick. I wanted Watson. I wanted to show up.
Well, because I was sitting there, I was looking at the board, and I was like, there's no way you don't get Watson. And then, the pick right before, and he's like, see, do I know these guys or what?
Yeah. And fucking that's Watson.
And so we got our trade, and I took Deontay Johnson because he was like the last of the receivers that I wanted.
Also, I'm just going to touch on AJ over here. You do know that you only made it to the Super Bowl because you played against a team that could only run the ball for 3/4 of the game, right? Like that game ended after quarter 1. The game was done because your defense got to play 11 in the box. So you had a great defense. And
I will maintain forever that if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt in that game, the Niners would have won the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes.
I think the Niners were the best team, yeah.
Yes.
And then their quarterbacks going down just killed everything.
It was the most unlucky thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was actually pretty sad. That was very unlucky because I liked Purdy's run there. I liked the hero run from Purdy. It was a good story. That team was fantastic. And
that was probably one of the better defenses I've ever seen.
But then you have Eagles fans just acting like that shit just never happened. They just beat a completely healthy 49ers team that beat the Cowboys. It's just like
they're also acting like they didn't have the softest schedule of any team in the NFL last year.
Just saying. Okay.
Going back though, I am a big Trevor Lawrence fan this year. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Lawrence a lot. And like they just keep getting him weapons too.
Yep. So many weapons.
Like
And he's only like
Philly,
23 years old. He's only 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Mahomes and Allen, I think, stay at the top for like another 2 or 3 years. And eventually I think like Hurts and Lawrence are gonna be the top two here in a couple of years.
So you don't think Mahomes is going to be like I'm not saying, it's hard to say. He's not going to be like a Steve Young or Peyton Manning. He's not going to be that top Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be that generational guy. I have him as the generational guy.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is. But for dynasty purposes, I mean, like once he hits like 30, I think Hurts and Lawrence will kind of jump him on the dynasty ranks. But in real life, he's that guy until he retires.
I got you.
But I'm just talking like for dynasty ranking purposes, I really think Hurts and Lawrence will end up jumping Allen and Mahomes as far as just because they'll be younger. So,
See, I like Burrow over Hurts.
Same.
I mean, not in this I guess you're saying with your instance with 4-point touchdowns and rushing, but quarterback wise,
I take that back. I like.
You're talking
quarterback wise, Burrow over Hurts.
Like in real life?
Yeah, real life.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I had to make sure that we were talking about real life too, but But in fairness, Hurts, I thought was going to completely flop in the NFL, and
yeah, we got to watch him a year at OU, and I didn't think he was going to translate to the pros very well.
He couldn't make decisions quickly, and then he would make the wrong decision, and then he was a turnover machine, and then the Eagles got a hold of him, and I mean they've done very well. So kudos to them. Kudos to them.
Really thought he would flop, and they figured out how to make him fit, man.
And then they turned him into a fantasy football machine. And I much appreciate that. Yeah. No, AJ, I think we can all agree with you. As much as we hate the Eagles as a team was absolutely incredible. I mean, they stacked that team to win a Super Bowl. That offense was incredible. That defense was incredible. It was a great team, but you still didn't play a healthy 49ers team. And by that, I mean, that game was over after the first quarter because that offense was shut down because they didn't have a quarterback. So.
Well, AJ, I hate the Eagles, but to be a positive for you, though, the 49ers are your only challenge. You guys are going to run through the NFC.
I think that's probably right. Yep. That Eagles team has just been fantastic.
Ridiculous. But, the defense is ridiculous.
What sucks is, though, when you have a team like that and the Eagles aren't going to be able to keep reloading that, right? They need to take advantage of it now, and then they don't win the Super Bowl. That sucks. When you have probably the best team you've ever had in Philly and you still don't win the Super Bowl, man, what a waste.
All you need is that one asshole in the locker room.
Yep. But they can't have you in there, so.
Son of a bitch. Shots fired.
Oh, good times. Okay, so one more quarterback I kind of wanted to talk about, and he's way down at the bottom, is Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. Is he overlooked with his running ability? Is he overlooked in a league like this or any league with the 4-point passing touchdowns? Daniel Jones holds a little bit more water.
I think he's well ranked. I don't trust any of their wide receivers. Mm-hmm. They're in a tough division. Let's be honest. Like Washington sucks. I'm a Washington fan there, but their defense is good. So like their defense could hold tight. Daniel Jones is picked in this draft where he should be picked. I mean, I don't think he's going to have a breakout season or anything.
Right.
What do you guys feel about Daniel Jones?
What do you think, Kyle?
Well, I'm kind of looking at it here. Like, I think he fits in with that group of like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. I would have taken him over Rodgers and Tua. But I think he fits in right around there. So I think he was drafted fine.
I'm gonna go after your biased asses. Would you take Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott with his running ability?
In this format, yeah, I would have with 4-point passing touchdowns. I would.
Yeah. Dak has running ability, but it's not utilized. Now, will that change with a different offensive coordinator, different offensive play caller? Possibly, because really Dak in that offense is the best when Dak is a running threat. He's not the greatest. I mean, he's kind of like a Daniel Jones, right? Like, he's not the greatest runner, but he has a running ability. And when they utilize that Dallas offense runs pretty good.
Yeah.
But will they utilize that going forward? I don't know. I don't know if they will or not.
I think it's gone underappreciated just how much Brian Dabble has done for Daniel Jones in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not comparing skill wise, but size wise, and the change I've seen from Daniel Jones before Dable came in.
Like 6'7" or something. Like, he's tall.
He's big. He's like a size of,
he's 6'5".
but he's the size of like where's Josh Allen? What's his size? 6'5", 230 is Jones.
6'5",
Yeah.
237. So yeah,
they're the same size. Daniel Jones definitely in our division. We don't want to see it, but he looked much better last season.
He did.
So we can see if he rises. I think I got a good backup there, but he's my backup.
I'm just going to throw out there that Dak Prescott missed 5 games last year and still finished the number 18 quarterback.
Wow.
So,
yeah, well, Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Washington has had in the last 30 years, so I can't say anything.
I wish we had the rest of the team that we have now, but we could swap Dak out and get Romo back. I think we'd really make a run. Like
now, though, like Romo at 53.
If we have Romo in his prime with this current team, I think we make a serious Super Bowl run.
Now,
but
Daniel
unfortunately,
Jones,
we'll never know.
Daniel Jones missed 1 game and finishes the number 9 quarterback.
Jones had a good year, man.
He did.
He had a really good year.
And I think he had like 700 rushing yards. I don't know. I might be wrong.
You think Sam Howell is going to do a good job?
No, I think Washington has to get a top pick. I hope so. I hope every year, but this team has put doubt in my mind for years. So I have no hope.
There's a lot of optimism that he can be that guy, but
he has the weapons. He has a ton of weapons.
He's just got to come in and take command, you might say.
Oh my God, Bazing! He's on fire tonight. No, he definitely has the weapons. He has Antonio Gibson. He has Curtis Samuel, Dotson, Terry McLaurin. You got guys, great route runners. Get him the ball.
Yeah. He's got some mobility, though, right? He's got some wheels on him.
Yeah, and he's big. He can break tackles.
He kind of a Daniel Jones type?
No, no.
Yeah, but
I hope he surprises the league. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I could see it, honestly. I mean, his running ability is interesting. It's isn't it kind of bruiser type?
And you guys must say, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? An underappreciative, an overlooked move this offseason was Eric Bieniemy. Nobody really talks about that. He's going to be behind Sam Howell too. So I want to see. I'm curious to see what he does with that. I think
I saw a mixed bag of reactions online about Bieniemy.
I love it personally. I think he should be head coach next year, but
because he was exciting with the Chiefs, but I saw a lot of stuff from like Chiefs fans that was it was mostly because Mahomes made him look good. So we're gonna find out.
We will.
Was
he the true play caller there in Kansas City though?
That's true. Andy Reid is a mastermind.
Right.
Dude, he is. Andy Reid is the man.
With Ron Rivera, I have a feeling that Washington promised him a path to head coach.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling. Why else would you pass on the cushiest gig and Super Bowl win and get come on. You
if you're in your contract, if you get this team to 500, you're the head coach next year.
Yeah, something there was promised to him, I bet.
Rivera's probably firmly on the hot seat right now.
Yeah. AJ wants to know where the ads. First of all, I haven't turned on, but I don't know why they're not showing. But they'll show probably on the replay. But I will tell you something for us to make money. Alrighty. So here's the deal. We are launching our own social media network. You can go to fantasyfootballnetwork.com and you can learn about it and get signed up on there. And there will be ways for us to make money on there. And there will be ways for all content creators to make money on there. So we are about to start blasting that out very shortly. Got a few more updates to the website to make, and then we'll start blasting that out. And then we'll have a full social media website dedicated just to fantasy football. And then you don't have to listen to all the political bullshit. You don't have to see other people's kids that nobody likes. You don't have to see what they cooked for dinner or the fucking CrossFit thing they did. Good for you. Fuck off. I'm playing fantasy football. So yeah, we'll have something dedicated completely to that. And then you can donate directly to us. You can subscribe and have a good time on there. So we will be making money, but right now, like ads on YouTube, they're kind of annoying. So trying not to make people go through that if they don't have to. Because honestly, we don't make much money off of it anyways. YouTube doesn't pay shit. If someone tips us $10, we get like 5 of it. They just take a huge chunk of all the money that we make. So fuck YouTube. We're going to do our own thing. So, crap. They're probably going to kick us off here now anyway. So
fuck YouTube, but thank you, AJ, for being a very polite and respectful dude. And we appreciate your views.
He's respectful to us, just not our Cowboys, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, AJ, you're a stud, man. Thank you for coming in here. Albert, another stud. I know he was on here earlier. We scheduled this one really last minute, so we appreciate people dropping by and saying, hey, and it's off season. Off season's tough. People aren't really in the mode. We're in the mode because we're drafting right now. And we're deep into this shit, and I'm building a whole platform dedicated to fantasy football. So we're in it year round, but you guys aren't for the most part, and so we appreciate you popping in here and hanging out with us. It's always fun to see our friends in here in the off season. So with that being said, guys, we're past 10 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock your time there, Scotty. So y'all have anything else you want to talk about or say before we sign off here?
I just wanted to touch on AJ's last comments there about LaShawn McCoy. That was one of the interviews I saw about banning me. It was LaShawn McCoy literally shitting all over him.
Yeah.
Oh, but did you hear did you hear his teammates though? They said he's pissed off because he didn't make the team. He was pissed off because
no, I didn't see that. I just remember seeing this interview and I was like, damn, like
that's funny.
He's pissed.
Yeah.
AJ, do you follow us on Instagram too at fantasyfootball.network? And you can keep up with everything with us there. AJ, I agree. We are friends. Didn't think I could be friends with an Eagle, but hey, here we are anyways.
Dude, we made a lot of Eagles fan friends through this show. We just attract Eagles fans in here.
Yeah. They like
coming here and shit on us. A couple of the pages that we've worked with on Instagram in the past are Eagles pages and fans and stuff. And we found a handful of good ones, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
That's true. It's true. Awesome. You got anything, Scotty, before we sign off here?
No, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for going over the draft. And you'll see my face more often on this Fantasy Football Network. And I'm very happy about it. And come see our Sunday morning show. And we have shows all week. So tune in.
Yep. It's going to be fun. All right, guys. With that being said, we'll see you. I think we're going to start up doing this weekly again now. I think we're into July, guys. It's time to do weekly again. Don't you think, Kyle?
Yes. And I don't know. We haven't decided yet when we're switching to Mondays, but that switch will be coming too.
Yep. All right. Get following us at fantasyfootball.network, and then we'll keep you up to date, AJ, on the new social media network that's going to be way better than Instagram. So, all righty, guys. We'll holler at you later. See ya.
Peace.
Later.